right,
This is it,
we're
huh?
good. This is it.
I like that music a little better.
Yeah, they
Still a little
they just,
70s porny, but
they just changed the platform so you could add your own music.
oh, nice. A little bit on the loud side for me. I have to talk over it.
No, you
Yeah,
don't.
it's a lot better. Oh, you have better control than the last music.
Yeah,
You seemed like it was more trouble than it was worth.
yeah, that's because it was their music, and you had to. Yeah, I was able to upload my own music.
And I just upgraded finally to YouTube Premium. It's interesting. It is a little different. So we'll see how good it is. Right? Well, I want to get rid of cable. I'm tired of this yearly negotiation I have to do with them to do my thing, but that's another topic.
True. Matt, I'm glad you're here because we have something to discuss
Uh-oh. I didn't do it.
that actually involves both me and you. Healthcare.
It does.
When did the quality of healthcare become shit in America?
Oh, wow. Sorry.
Right?
Wow, that's an interesting question. I want to say it was probably around my dad's or somewhere his generation. They've got the
Well,
best healthcare and stuff like that. But it's
remember
been
when we
steadily
were
in decline
kids.
over the years, huh?
I remember when we were kids growing up, even in our 20s, you needed healthcare. You got really good quality healthcare. Doctors
Yeah, as
actually give a
kids.
shit.
Yeah, but we don't. I mean, my parents never told me what their deductibles were or what the co-pays
No,
were. I had no idea.
I'm not even talking about the prices. I'm talking about the doctor's outlook on patients.
Yeah,
Back when
I feel
when
I
we
feel
were
a
in our
lot.
20s and 30s, doctors cared about their patients. Now it's just like a mill to get them in and out.
I get that from my doctor too, but my doctor is one of those few that does care because I know what you mean. A lot of times I feel like I'm going to Burger King. You know,
Yeah, well,
I went to the dermatologist not long ago, and you know, I get poison ivy, you know, once in a while. I got it really bad as a kid, but anyway, for some reason I have it really bad, and the shit won't go away. So of course I go to a dermatologist, and they said, "Yeah, there's really not much we can do for you." I'm like, "What?" I said, well, you know, I told them I used to, like when I was a kid, they didn't really have much, so I would use a little bit of extra bleach to try to dry it out, you know, and my bath
was it
water.
Ivy?
Yeah, just a
Well,
little. I'm talking about really high pool quality, let's say.
We used
But
to-
even still, wait a minute, she suggested I do that. That's what her suggestion was to me, that I do that, take a bleach bath. I said, I like tilted my head. Are you kidding me? Whatever. So
what happened to calamine
I have a
lotion
feeling
and
I
oatmeal
didn't.
bath?
My insurance wasn't good enough. I don't think for her.
And I'm not even talking about doctors. Pharmacies are the same way too.
Hmm.
I don't know if you were aware. Did you hear about this woman from TikTok? who
Yeah, I
had
think I sent you that video.
an issue getting her birth control.
Yep, and it turned out that the woman behind the counter was injecting her religious philosophy and telling her to go somewhere else and
Tell
rethink her
someone-
decision or something like that.
No, she literally told them, "We're not giving it to you."
Right. I mean, yeah, 0 refills and things like that. And then the pharmacy saying we dealt with the situation, it won't happen again, or something like that. I mean, what
Yeah,
does that
they-
even mean?
They
You know?
addressed the situation.
Right, but meanwhile, she didn't have her meds for a couple of weeks.
2 weeks. 2
And
weeks.
that's not good when, those things, that's a kind of medication you need to take. Even though there's a placebo at the end of the last 5 days, I think, they're sugar pills or whatever. That's part of that cycle, that process.
But
Believe
the
me,
point is,
wife and I talked about it quite a bit.
who has a right to deny someone medication just because they don't like the medicine?
Right, and that's not the only reason why to take that type of medication either. There are
I
other
agree.
reasons for it.
I agree. There's
Yeah.
there's also a medication that works with lupus long term.
Yeah.
That people are being denied that medication because it can also taken in extreme amounts. can
Right, for
cause
abortion.
miscarriage.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
and
for-
so they
for
won't let
cookies,
even
yeah.
lupus. They won't even let lupus patients take it now.
Yeah, I mean,
How far do
we
they
got
want
to
to
do
come
something.
into our...
Well, not all Christians are like this, though. It is only a fairly large, I will say, handful. But for some reason, they've not only latched onto Christians, but they've latched onto the Republican Party.
Well,
for whatever reason, along with all the other crazies and wackos.
Wasn't that happening with COVID when that pharmacist or the pharmacist assistant took that whole batch of COVID out of the fridge and left it there because he didn't want people to have it?
Right. I mean, I remember something like that. It all expired. Or whatever on the counter.
It went bad because it's got to be refrigerated.
Right.
And
did you see all the millions of dollars of PPE that were left outside too? Like tens of millions, pallets of PPE. I remember seeing stories like that at local news channel, not here, but I want to say it was like LA or somewhere out in California. But yeah, I mean, it's Googleable. Google it.
That 10-year-old? That 10-year-old from last week?
What about? The kid, the pregnant kid.
She went to Indiana.
Indiana, yeah.
Indiana is now putting in an anti-abortion law that has no exceptions. So the next 10-year-old is going to have to go 3 states over or 4 states over it, just so that they don't have a child raising a child.
Mm-hmm. They're going to make it federal. It'll something they'll do almost immediately. The second thing, that'll be the second thing to do. The first thing they're going to do is get rid of the filibuster.
They can't make it federal because they just said Roe v. Wade can't be federal and it has to be by the states.
They're going to do it anyway. Do you think a little thing like a rule is going to stop them from doing it? No. They're going to do it anyway. They will find a way to make it federal. Whether it's illegal or not. Because you think about it, they make it illegal or whatever, and it goes up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court backs them up.
Yeah, but New York's not going to go for it.
Well, a lot of states aren't going to go for it. There are plenty of states that said they're not going to, if there's a federal or whatever national law, and some states are already saying they're not going to uphold it.
Yeah. I mean, and now they have, places are trying to enact that fetus personhood law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So that way that, heaven forbid you swear around a pregnant woman, you might get a fine, or that could be considered child abuse.
I was just talking to my son. I mean, does that mean that if a woman has a glass of wine at dinner, she could be arrested for attempted murder?
Or contributing to the delinquency of a minor?
Or if you have sex with your pregnant wife, would that be considered child rape?
Pedophilia. Oh, yeah. Not supposed to do that God wouldn't approve, or whoever.
But I came up with an abortion solution to that clause. You just have the abortion and say that the baby was attacking you from the inside. You felt threatened, so you had to do self-defense.
I had to stab it. Yeah.
It was self-defense. I thought it was going to kill me.
Yeah. You're funny.
But coming back to healthcare in the United States, I recently had an incident with a doctor. I'm not going to name names. But suffice it to say, okay, little background, I'm a diabetic. Okay, I was recently put on insulin, and I'm supposed to be sticking my finger 3 times a day to use my glucometer to make sure that everything's straight.
You doing it?
All right. Well, this is where it gets tricky.
Well,
no, this is where it gets tricky. The doctor sends the prescription in for the test strips to the pharmacy. The pharmacy sends it to their regional office, who then sends a fax over to my doctor in the form of what they call a certificate of medical urgency.
Yeah, prior
or
authorization
medical necessity.
Too. Yeah, prior authorization. I have a lot of meds I do that with. Mm-hmm.
Which they already have, okay? Every time he prescribes the strips, they send him the certificate of medical necessity. He has to fill out, send back to the regional office, but then has to send it back to the local store. Needless to say, somewhere in that loop, it gets lost every single time.
Every time, yeah. So I know. I deal with that every once in a while. I
don't get my strips, and I yelled at my doctor. I was like, "You got to fix this shit." All right, so I was in there Thursday. And I told him, I said, I still don't have the strips. What do you want me to do? Now, he doesn't say anything to me. He comes back in the room a few minutes later with an assistant, opens up this box, shows her what's in the box, puts something together, walks over to me and goes, well, bam! Puts an implant in my arm without even asking me. Yes, folks, I have an implant
Cool.
in my arm. It's supposed to work with my phone so that when I scan my phone over it, it tells me my blood sugar.
Oh, that's cool. That's fucking cool.
Wait,
Wait for
didn't
it.
ask me about it, didn't explain it to me, didn't test it first. It's not compatible with my phone.
Shit. Oops.
Yeah. So they call the pharmacy.
Wait, what do you
the
got? A
pharm-
friggin' flip phone? Or what do you got?
No, I got a
So you got
smartphone.
Flintstones fucking phone, man?
It's a Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah, what year? An S7 or something?
No, it's called the. I forget what it's called.
That's
I'll
just your
find
friggin' luck, dude.
No, but so they call the pharmacy. The pharmacy says, "Okay, but we need this paperwork filled out." So they get this paperwork filled out, send it back to them. And they're in the office at the time, and they said, yeah, "Oh, it's a Galaxy J7 Crown."
That might not be compatible.
Yeah, but they should have checked that before they stuck it in my arm. They also should have told me, explain what it was, what it does, how long it's got to be in there, and if any, what complications can arise. None of that happened. He just walked over and cha-choom. Now I have this implant.
How long has he been your doctor?
6 years. I've been trying to get rid of him. I've been trying to get another doctor, but nobody has openings.
Well, now you can. You could have his license taken for that. Dude, no,
Well,
that's not allowed. How far you want to go?
I mean, that's what I don't know. I mean, I even asked his daughter who works there if she could take me on as a patient because she knows the problems I'm having with him. And she's like, I'm completely full. I can't take any new patients. Nobody around here is taking new patients, so I'm stuck with inadequacy.
I don't know, man. I'd get a free consultation somewhere if I were you.
So now I've got this thing. He says it has to stay in 2 weeks and I have to go see him to get it removed.
Yeah, it should be easy enough. It's probably like an RF transmitter of some sort.
I don't know, but he says
It looks like a pill.
I'm supposed to have it replaced every 2 weeks.
What?
Yes, and now what he said
Every
was
2 weeks, it should be permanent.
Yeah.
No,
I said-
I wouldn't want that every 2 weeks. He'd kiss my ass for 2 weeks.
He didn't even talk to me about it though. I had no choice.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool. That's not
Now
helping you out, though.
Now they're supposedly in connection with the manufacturer who is trying to get me a reader shipped to me, but there was some sort of paperwork they had to deal with yesterday, and now she says that they're going to call both her, which is the nurse, and me, and coordinate the shipping. I don't understand what that means because they have all my information.
Well, I don't know. It could be an expensive piece of equipment. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they want to make sure it gets to you and you're going to be home when it's there or something like that. Maybe you have to sign for it.
I don't know, but the fact of the matter is, I mean, they could have sent it to the doctor's office and given it to me on my next visit.
A lot of times they don't. I've had to deal with that kind of stuff. It just doesn't work that way.
Especially since he wants to see me again next week and the week after.
Bring it with you if you have it. I don't know. I could see the benefits of something like that, and I agree with you. I'd want to know more about it, and I'd lose my shit really if somebody stuck something in me without my knowledge. I don't know how I would respond to that.
He put it on my arm and tells me after he puts it in that, oh yeah, this will eliminate the test strips.
Yeah, for 2 weeks.
And then you got to put another one in to eliminate it again.
Right. So I'm assuming that this thing is pretty small.
I don't know. Like I said, it's
Yeah, it'd leave a hole if it were a big transmitter.
That is actually part of it. It goes under the skin as well. This is plastic.
Oh.
This is plastic.
Oh, I see. It's like plugged into you.
Yeah. And you run your phone over it, and it takes a reading without touching it. And he shows me that he's got one. I'm glad he's got one, but I'm sure he had an informed decision.
Yeah. Right.
You know? I made no decision, informed or otherwise. I was basically a victim of whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah, that would really, really bother me. I see your predicament. But again, you'd need to start with the legal advice, and the sooner you do that, the better.
Well, I'm the legal part of it right now.
Right, but it might enable you to get a different doctor too.
Right. What bothers me is, how did healthcare get to this point? Doctors just go and do procedures, don't even tell you about it or advise you on it or give you the choice?
No, it's our officials that make the laws and the rules that these people have to abide by. And if we stop, if we fall asleep at the wheel and stop paying attention to who the fuck we're putting into power, then this is the kind of stuff that happens. The rules change while we don't see it, and then when we need the service, we realize that the rules have changed. And we weren't paying attention. But this is local rules, I would imagine. There could be some federal mixed in there as well. But clearly, this guy doesn't have any he doesn't think he's going to lose his license for that, which he probably should. No one should be touching you, let alone sticking in something in your body without your permission. Express permission. Like when I'm at my doctor and they're going to do something like that, they ask me a couple of times, that you're doing this, and they want you to. One shot I had, they just wanted me, what are you here for? What time of day is it? What's the weather like, and so on, to make sure that I'm coherent enough to be able to make this decision for myself.
And did they explain to you what was in the shot, what the side effects were and all that?
This happened to be the COVID booster, because down here I can't get it from the doctor anymore, period, whether I wanted to or not. So it's only at the local whatever. So I went to my Walgreens, and the person that gave me the shot is somebody I've been dealing with for, 10 years since they opened. So that wasn't too bad. So it was kind of fun. We made it a big deal, because not like they don't have enough shit to do. They got this to do now. So yeah, she did. She told me about stuff and side effects, and asked me if I had other, because this was number 3 on my boosters.
Okay. Let me give you another example of how great this doctor is. I told you I was recently put on insulin.
Mm-hmm.
He told me he's putting me on insulin. I said, okay, before we do that, can you tell me what it does and what the side effects are, if any? There's really no big side effects. Don't worry about it. I go home, I look it up. It's got a litany of side effects.
Death.
That are, all sorts of things. They could make me, pass out and lose.
Yeah, but man, they overkill it now. That's another regulation thing too, right there.
Yeah, but I'm like, why would you tell me there's none when you could say, well, there's minor side effects. These could be them before I put something in my body. I mean, what happens?
They're supposed to. My doctor does. My doctor hasn't missed a step. Or he'll ask me, are you familiar with this stuff? Or I'll volunteer that I am, whatever.
I mean, I personally asked him point blank, are there side effects? What are they, if any? And he basically blew me off like I was a 6-year-old asking him why the world was round. And I'm like, when did healthcare deteriorate that much? I mean, that people are comfortable. It's not like he's new. They're comfortable doing this.
I don't know. People grow into it and realize or think it's normal. It's the way they're supposed to be. It's the way it's always been.
I mean,
we're older, so.
I've always taken care of my own shit. Like sprains, broken bones, stitches. I've gone and got a few stitches here and there, but most of the time I take care of my own stuff. And if I do go somewhere for a serious thing, I get my medical records. Well, before I leave, I want a copy of my medical records.
Don't you have a family physician or no?
No.
No, I do, and you should. You should have someone you see for regular checkups and your physicals and blah blah blah, the normal stuff.
That's what he is. He's my general practitioner. They call it now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. My doctor saved me. Saved my life twice. You know. Yeah, my doctor's been really, really good at diagnosing shit for me. Like barely looking at me, saying, "Oh yeah, I know what you have." You know, come on.
I was having a mild heart attack in his office one day. He told me to go home and call 911.
Go home and call 911?
Did not say we're going to call 911. Didn't put me on an EKG, which they have there. I was like, no, I'll sit this one out. Just get me some water. I stayed there for a while. It passed. Enough for me to get to the hospital.
Wow. That's insane, man. I don't say that. I'm surprised for New York State, where, look where I'm at, man. You know, I expect the doctors to be trash here, and they're not. I hate to say it, that every experience I've had with a doctor, except for this last dermatologist, has been really, really good. Very good.
Recently, I went to him because something in my medication mixed with the insulin he put me on is making my blood pressure drop to dangerous levels.
Oh shit!
And when I say dangerous levels, I mean like 70 over 50.
Wow.
And I went in and I told him, and first of all, and whenever I tell him, I said, "What medicine can be causing this?" He's like, "I don't know. I'd have to look at your chart." So this time I was prepared, and I said, "Which medication can be causing this? Here's a list of all my medications and what they're for." So he looks at it. He says, "Let's cut this one in half. See what happens." I said, "Okay, you think that's it?" He says, "Maybe." Then after he put the implant in my arm, he's like, "You know what? We're going to do something different. Let's eliminate that medication altogether and see if that helps." I'm like, "Am I a guinea pig? Do we not know what drugs interact with what drugs to cause what?"
Wow. I am very, very happy that my doctor knows that kind of shit. So, yeah. Or if he doesn't know, he's not afraid to admit it and say, "I'll be right back. Hang on a second." You know and he'll find out.
Is when I see my blood pressure at 111 over 79, and I'm happy. You know, it's crazy. And I don't understand. Like I said, when we were in our 20s and 30s, doctors gave a shit.
I never saw a doctor then.
I had doctors seeing me constantly for the minor things. Like I had a hematologist who was seeing me monthly because they found a minor irregularity in my white blood cells.
Gotta put the kids through school somehow.
No, but I mean, and they were on top of it. They were, you know, I'm sure that I know that it had to do with my Mediterranean anemia, but I don't think that they were very familiar with that side of it, because it's one of the minor things that happens from it. Like, it doesn't happen very often. It's an uncommon thing. But it doesn't affect me physically, so I stopped going. I was like, you know, unless it's cancer, I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
You know, and it's just, I just don't understand. But he was on me all the time, like he was there. My orthopedic surgeons were always, you know, "Do you need to come in and get new leg braces? Do you need another shot in your leg? Is everything okay? How are you walking it?" They're always these doctors today are like, "Okay, you want to come see me? How about 3 weeks from next Thursday?" Like, by then I'll be all better.
Right. With any luck, anyway.
I don't understand when doctors and nurses and pharmacists stop caring. And
some
why?
of it might not be as far as them not caring. It goes to them being, their hand is tied because of regulation. That's possible.
Well, I know that this doctor 3 years ago, I was going to him because he was prescribing me a hydrocodone because I have a problem with my back and with my knees. I have a degenerative disease in my knees. So he's prescribing hydrocodone for me, which is fine. I refused. They offered me the maximum dose, and I was like, no, I don't want to go there because I know what the side effects can be. I know you can get addicted to it. Keep me on a low to medium dose, and I'll be happy just to dull the pain. And then one day, I go in, and he says, I can't give you anymore.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because the feds were sending him messages or letters or something, so he had to cut everybody off. He lost 72 patients that day.
Wow.
72 patients dropped him because he refused to prescribe hydrocodone anymore. Now, I don't need it like a junkie needs it. I don't sell it. I don't give it away.
You can't get cut off like that. I don't care if you're a junkie or not. You can't go cold turkey if you've been taking it for a while.
No. They made an exception. Well, he said, instead of taking you off cold turkey, I'm going to give you Tylenol 3 with codeine.
Yeah, that's going to help.
I'm like, so you want me to take M&Ms to get rid of this?
Right.
I mean, it does nothing. But that was their answer because he was, I'm assuming the way he presented it to me was he was under federal scrutiny at the time.
Yeah, but it just, I don't know.
Now I go to all the doctors around here and I ask them, I explain the situation. They say, yeah, we don't prescribe that either now. Because of, the war on opiates. So, actual citizens who are in actual pain and actually need it are being denied it unless you have cancer. If you have cancer, you can get hydrocodone. You
can get anything you want, pretty much.
But I'm sorry. I'm not going out and getting cancer just to get pain pills.
There's that.
It's just ridiculous. I don't... Back when we were kids, my father had GHI, government health insurance. Everything was covered. Dental, eyes, everything. Now, you have to have insurance for dental, insurance for eyes, insurance for medical, insurance for emergencies.
Yep. Medicaid doesn't cover that. Those are add-ons. Yeah, you got to pay extra. Like, mine's going to kick in November, and I think it's $170 a month. For just Medicaid. And the thing is I kind of have to have it because my insurance company that I'm through under my wife, they may demand it. That if I have that as an option, I have to take it because whatever they don't cover, the other will. So in a way, it's better for me in the long run. I should have less to pay. But I still have to pay that monthly fee. A lot of people on Social Security can't afford that.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm on disability, and I have Medicare and Medicaid, and they zap me like $130 or $140 a month for Medicare.
And I bought a supplemental disability policy, so I get money to supplement some of my lost pay. So thank God for that. That's like $400 more a month I get. Maybe almost 500. Because of that policy. I'm really glad I got that. Best $17 I ever spent.
There's no way for me to work again ever, but yet they take away your income for insurance that first of all, the insurance you need, the Medicare, you need Medicaid to back it up because they don't cover a lot of shit.
Right.
So Medicaid picks up the rest.
Right.
But neither one of them pick up prescriptions. So now I have to have a third company.
Well, prescription is supplemental. You need a supplemental part, whatever, to get prescription.
No, I have a third insurance company that works with it.
I hope it's not Express Scripts.
No, I have Medicare, Medicaid, and Humana.
Humana, yeah.
And Humana covers the prescription part of it.
Right.
So now I have 3 insurances. I'm paying a good percentage of, at least 10% of my monthly income.
And you have to have the medical insurance in order to maintain your disability.
Correct.
Because you have to do shit. Like me, I'm sure in a couple more years I'm going to have to do another evaluation. The last one cost me $750 and was out of pocket. It's like, how the frig do you expect me to pay for that when I'm on disability, barely making it as it is? Where do you think I'm going to come up with that kind of money? I still have my mortgage. I still have a car payment, insurance, and all those things. I still have to eat. Really? You know? It's ridiculous. I shouldn't have to pay for that. That should be an insurance deductible item because it's something I have to do.
I have a question for you.
Got an answer?
Since they're outlawing abortions, do you think that the state should provide free medical care for all pregnant women?
I don't know. I believe in universal health care anyway, so sure. If they're gonna take away this, there needs to be that. But the thing is it doesn't matter because this is something we have to fight to keep anyway. We cannot lose this battle. This battle cannot stop.
Right.
But in the meantime, yeah, sure. We definitely need something. You know, they need to try to codify it. If for some reason and out of some miracle we maintain our control over the House and the Senate, then that's the first thing we do. If we happen to gain more seats where Sima and Manchin don't matter, that's great. Then let's do some shit. Let's do the filibuster, get rid of that, and let's codify Roe v. Wade, you know, and Obergefell. So that's 2 less things that people don't have to worry about. And yeah, go from there. Maybe do some climate change shit too. Strengthen the EPA, you know, and yes, get a couple more seats in the SCOTUS too, the Supreme Court. Definitely. We have to break this wacko nut job, you know, crazies that are friggin' running our Supreme Court. We gotta fix that.
Okay, Matt. That was, we do. And the only way to do that is to vote. We have to
voting
out
it
in
boils down to
mad
voting.
numbers. Mad numbers. I don't care if they want to scream. It was so. You see who's screaming that the elections are rigged is people like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, sure.
And yet,
but then, you know, it's funny how they don't cry that the election's rigged when they win.
Well, didn't
That's
she just
okay.
win her primary?
Somehow not rigged when they win.
Didn't she just win her primary?
I think so.
And yet that wasn't rigged. But you can't
Of course.
But you can't trust the state of Georgia to run elections. How?
Well, come on. They put up Herschel Walker. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
Aye. You know, his own team doesn't trust him.
I mean, don't they have like doctors that can check to see if they have concussion syndrome or something?
You have to, man. I think one of the things is you must reside in the state. Oz lives in Jersey, you know, and Herschel Walker lives in Texas.
I saw that really? Oz did a Pennsylvania ad.
Yeah, he did a Pennsylvania ad. Yeah, from his house in Jersey, because the shit in the house, you could see it in the. You can't make this shit up, man. You just can't.
Now they do all this, and then they go, "Look what the Democrats are doing. They're trying to steal our democracy."
Right, and they're just trying to step on everybody. Yeah, let's tamp you down. There's too many of you. Try to make some wine here. You know?
All right, I have to do this quick announcement thing, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about kitchen gadgets.
Alrighty.
This young lady is still missing. She would now be 8 years old.
Wow.
Her family is still looking for her. If there's any information from anyone, I don't care if they tripped over her, while running through the woods. Just call and say this might be her. You know, and give her family some peace.
Well, by now you're going to be looking at small items. I mean, people hiking around or whatever. If you happen to stumble across something you're not sure of or looks out of place, odds are it might be.
So, Matthew.
Yes, sir.
I understand you purchased a new kitchen gadget.
I kind of did, yeah.
Now,
look for a sale because you can definitely get them pretty cheap.
Now, explain to me again what it is. A combination what?
It is a Instapot, which is a pressure cooker and a slow cooker, and it also has an air fryer. So, like,
Now,
if you
is that two separate compartments? Like you have a drawer for the air fryer and then
nope, it's all the same thing. It's all in one unit. 2 lids.
Oh, really?
2 lids.
2 lids.
2 lids. You got one pressure cooker lid that seals, maintains pressure. You can't deep fry with this though.
Okay.
You don't need to, but anyway.
Okay, so they do it all in the same compartment. Then.
And the same. Well, it's got an inner pot, which is stainless steel, I believe. On the new model, they have handles on it, so it's good. So when you're mixing things, because it has modes where if you want to braise something or whatever in there, you can, or saute something. If you want your vegetables a certain way before you add more ingredients, you can do that all in the pot just by touching the button and setting it for how you want. So it does make that easier. Plus, it's designed to be on a cooktop. So if you have a glass top stove, the pot is perfectly flat. So that's perfect for using it on a top like that. They thought this one through. I'm pretty impressed with how easily it is to use.
Now, I have a GE slow cooker. I have a nice big GE slow cooker. And I also have a medium-sized air fryer.
I've got a couple slow cookers too. Hopefully I think this will be better because you can make rice in this as well. And there's a button for it, which is nice. I was going to ask, is that one of the new, because I know they came out with rice cookers or something. They're a rice pot. Oh, you have one? Let's see. Don't mind my kitchen, but whoops, if I'm going to turn my camera around, that's it.
Okay.
Here's the pressure cooker lid.
Okay.
And that is just where I'm keeping the air fryer stuff. That's a non-stick bucket.
Right. Now, where's the other lid?
It's right here. It comes with a base that you can set it on so it can take the heat. So you can set this on your countertop and not burn. Or you could store it in it. But this is the air fryer attachment. It knows the difference. So if you hit air fryer and have the wrong lid on, it won't work. It'll tell you to put the right lid on. But yeah, man, the screen is better. They learned from the other ones, and put the best stuff into here. But so far so good. It definitely makes fries better than anything I've had taken out before. And I made sure I bought the cheapest crap fries I could find that are frozen.
Right.
And yeah, I use avocado oil because it can take up to 500 degrees with a spray bottle. And you just spray a little bit of oil in, flip them a little bit, spray them again. You can season them before you put them in, so that's good. And then
what I do is I use it mostly for chicken wings. Yeah. I buy an 8-pound bag of chicken wings. I can cook, half a dozen, a little more at a time.
Wow. I could probably do about 20 at a time. Yeah, or I can do a higher temperature too, though.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I've never tried the chicken wings in a slow cooker. I don't even know how they come out.
Slow cooker? Why would you put them in a slow cooker?
Well, my dad used to make them for New Year's Eve. And he used to put them in
chicken.
Well, he used to put them in the oven. He used to put them in the oven, and they'd sit in the oil and the grease, and they'd get soft, and then he'd put barbecue sauce on them, and they were amazing.
I put them on a rack just above, like a cake resting rack or a cookie rest. Yeah, I use that. I put some foil under it, and that way the wings don't sit in their own grease. But with the air fryer, I don't even deal with that anymore.
Right. Yeah, I have way too many kitchen gadgets. I mean, I've got the slow cooker. I've got the air fryer. I've got a Mr. Coffee machine. I got a Keurig coffee machine. I have a cold coffee or an iced coffee machine.
Ooh, that's cool.
I have
you should still get those cups you refill yourself though, so you don't have to throw those plastic ones in the garbage. You should use it though. You can put whatever you want in there.
I use it whenever I run out of the K-Cups. I also have the Soda Stream. It's you can make your own soda at home.
Oh, cool.
It comes with a CO2 tank and
Yeah.
a bottle.
Carbonated
you put
water
in
and
it,
syrup and all that. Yeah.
and then you put syrup in. I got so many things.
I got a popcorn machine, a good one actually.
I do too. It's called a microwave.
No, mine's like a small version of a commercial grade one you'd get at a movie theater. I got that for my wife one year for her birthday or Christmas, I forget which. Yep, sales. I got that on Cyber Monday, saved 50%. It was pretty good. I like getting deals.
I have a question for you. It's a. You remember we did a show about gardening?
Yeah.
Okay. My daughter is growing her own basil.
Ooh, I grow a lot of basil.
All right, that's why I'm asking you. She came to me and she kind of like confused, and she said, "Dad, your basil is growing flowers. Is that normal?" And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you want it to go to seed, you let the flowers grow. If you want to grow basil, cut the flowers off. Just like an inch below the flowers, cut that off, and you'll grow more basil. But do it on all the flowers. Don't let it flower. If you let it flower, it's going to change. The plant's thinking it's, whatever, time to die. So it'll grow flowers and then it'll die. But you get wherever it lays its seeds will be basil next year. I'm doing that in my garden. I've let all my basil go flower, even my purple basil. And so next year I'll have all kinds of basil and oregano too. I did the same with the oregano. I let it grow wild in my tomato garden.
Well, she's growing indoors.
Oh, well, yeah, it won't go to seed then because it needs to be tell her to put it outside and let the bees get at it. Yeah, bees, flies, anything.
She's on the second floor, so she's just doing it indoors in her kitchen.
Then tell her to cut the flowers and don't ever let it flower. Yeah, okay. Take the flowers off, and then it'll continuously produce basil. Don't strip it bare, but you'll be able to take leaves off it. I usually, like when I was growing it inside, I had 4 or 5 plants.
Okay.
So I could pick basil here and there and not have to worry about taking too much, basil from one plant. A good sweet basil, though, you only need a little bit anyway. 5, 6 leaves, whatever is, pretty good to put in a sauce or something like that. For the general use. Unless you really like it, but all right, so you double that.
Right.
That's still pretty potent. The leaves are pretty big. Leaves are, big lighter size, maybe a little bigger.
Right.
For sweet basil. And I've got that purple Thai basil. I haven't cooked with it yet, so I'm curious how that's going to be. I really don't care much for like curries and stuff like that, but I have been curious on certain things like pho. It's a Thai soup.
I've heard of that. I have a female friend.
I like complex flavors like that. I'm curious.
I have a female friend in North Carolina who talks about that quite often, and I still don't understand what the hell is pho. Does that mean fake?
No, it's PHO. Right,
okay.
It's spelled PHO. And imagine a wonton soup. It's got that clear broth, and it's a lot like that, but it's that broth that has,
like
it's not water.
Soup.
Believe me, there's unbelievable explosion of flavor in it.
Like egg drop soup.
I suppose so, but I mean it's not. I'm just giving you an idea what you would look at when you see it. But yeah, it's kind of like that as well. It's got vegetables in it of some sorts, depending upon who makes it. I've seen it a few times. I've never actually tasted a pho. I got a pretty good idea how it would taste. But I have had, Asian versions, with wontons and stuff like that, that are quite delicious. I'd like to make some myself, actually.
Now, 4th of July came by. Did you do anything important?
Yeah, I typically do pretty good. I did good this year. The guy at the tent, man, really hooked me up because the prices were ridiculously high this year. Supply chains, they didn't have, even though their inventory was really low, all of them. They usually have a huge variety of stuff. But anyway, I spent probably about 150. And the guy threw in probably again that much. So I probably got another $1.50 for free. Otherwise, it would have been a kind of small event for me. I don't know why they were doing that. I mean, well, I don't know. There was no one there. And I went like the 1st of July. And the guy would scan an item and then throw one in my bag, and scan an item and throw one in my bag. Okay, man, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm not going to argue with you for giving me free shit.
Did you happen to catch that video of that family who kind of exploded their minivan?
Yeah, I saw a few things on that. One of them thinks that it was staged. You know, like a what not to do type of thing, and then it just got taken and then spread around as an actual event. I might have even sent you something on that. I thought I had.
I know that I've seen.
It was like TYT put or something like that.
I don't know. I've seen the video several times.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the video several times.
It's so odd. It's so odd how they're doing.
Every time I look at it,
ridiculous.
I come to the same conclusion that there's something off about the video.
Right. It does appear to be like a commercial.
What looks off about the video to me is the first firework goes off and it shoots like sparks near the car, and straight towards the crowd. And a child almost gets hit by it.
Right.
And he runs towards the crowd. But there's an older kid who steps over to it, and it looks like he lights it on fire.
Yeah, I do kind of see that at the back of the van. Yeah, like that pile of whatever was back at the van. It appeared to me that he was lighting it as well. Yeah,
that's what it looked like to me, and I'm like, nobody could be that stupid. He's
right, because it was long after that shot had gone over near the back of the car. You saw no fuse delay or nothing like that. And then you see the kid go over there, and then that's when things started to go crazy after that. Well, he might have been an adult too, who knows? Because he was at least as tall as the van.
Was it? Yeah, he looked like a
He was pretty comparable in height to the van. But that was a minivan. I mean, I'm not far from as tall as a minivan.
But I just found that interesting that I was hoping I wasn't the only one who saw that and went, this guy's lighting it on fire.
No, it did seem like that, didn't it?
It did. It most definitely did. And on that note, the 4th of July, I really quickly want to talk about this shooter. 7 dead, multiple people wounded, a child orphaned.
Right.
22 years old. Had the guns for over a year. Had multiple visits from the police for mental health and violence issues.
Right.
And his father helped him secure the guns.
Yeah.
His parent, seeing the kid emotionally struggling, helps him get firearms.
I don't know. They might not have seen it that way. A lot of people don't understand other people's psychological stuff. They just don't. They're not looking for it. I know you wouldn't. They don't want to deal with it.
I know you wouldn't notice it in other people and all that, but this is your child. You see him every day. Wouldn't you notice changes in his behavior?
Yeah, but what about with the family that has no connection with itself? You know, there's no relationship structure within the family at all. I mean, they don't hate each other, let's say, or anything like that. They just don't. They're not a social family. So how would you notice anything like that?
I did not get all the details, and I'm hoping maybe you got more than me. But I'm going to assume until told otherwise that the parents were divorced or separated.
I think so, because the mom, they had to blur out her shirt because she was too revealing.
Well, and not only that, it said he went to his mom's house to borrow her car. So I'm assuming that mom and dad live at separate places.
It would make sense, too. I would think so as well. Yeah. That'd be a good assumption.
So, of course,
but also his uncle, too, had made a couple of statements now.
Oh, I did not hear about that.
Did he say that he made one statement where he didn't know, no red flags, stuff like that. He said they really didn't, interact very much other than hi and bye and stuff like that. But, you know, the uncle, you know, he's got a dim light, let's say, at least in my opinion. No disrespect to the guy. I think he's a cool gentleman and all that. But probably not someone who's very outgoing. You know, like his nephew could have easily just made him feel uncomfortable enough where he just didn't want to really interact with him on a personal level.
Are we really at the point where we say we don't see signs of emotional distress when your child is tattooing his face?
Yeah, people usually run away from that stuff, though, man. It's hot. They don't want to touch it. They really don't. You know, when you start talking emotions and, you know, even around your family, I mean, I don't know what your relationship is like with your family personally, but some things make people feel uncomfortable. You don't necessarily think they're going to go out and shoot someone because of it or whatever. You know,
I'm basically the big brother in my family, so I see something, you're going to hear it from me. You know, I've done it many times going, dude, between me and you, what the hell's going on?
Yep, you know, me too. I've done similar things in my...
Is it something financial? You having problems with the wife? What's going on? You can, you know, let's look at this and deal with it.
Right.
If it's financial, I'll lend you money if you need it. I don't, you know, if it's with the wife, let's sit down and figure out what the problem is. If it's the kids, let me have them for a week. I'll straighten their asses out.
Yeah, okay. You'll spoil them so much they'll be ruined when they come back.
Oh, no. My nephew and niece, I'm on him all the time. I'm very old school, and he's trying to be hip by being a hipster from the 90s. So he's got that grunge look with the man bun and you know.
He doesn't have his pants to his knees, does he?
And no, he's just got the man bun, the scruffy face, the devil may care attitude,
unkempt look.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, what's with the you know, the douche bun? You know, I don't. And my brother's like, well, he likes his hair like that. I don't give a shit.
Wash it, yeah, right.
How's he gonna get a fucking job looking like that? Who's gonna hire a dude with a man bun and scruffy, patchy facial hair and dirty clothes?
I don't know.
You're gonna get jobs at McDonald's, at Dairy Queen.
I don't know. Times are changing, man. They're not necessarily what we used to think. You know, I've seen people at the other end of you know, my transaction that I don't think I would necessarily have hired, but nonetheless, they're there. They're not causing me any issues, so whatever. That's fine with me.
Trust me, if I was still running my company and somebody came in with like a full sleeve all the way to the knuckles, I'm sorry, you're just not what we're looking for. Why? Because it may be good for your self-expression, but it's not the image I want my company to present.
Yeah, but how is that misrepresenting your company? No.
I didn't say it's misrepresenting.
I'm just, what I mean is that so many companies now have dropped that way of thinking. You can be a CEO and have a sleeve of tattoos on your arm. Maybe not necessarily on your face.
It's when it comes out of the sleeve and you can see it on the hands and shit. Up on the neck. No. We have a professional atmosphere. We want to present a professional appearance.
I have mixed feelings about that. I think it depends what it is. I mean, if it's a swastika, okay. You know, if it's something else, then I don't know. I think those situations need to be evaluated as they present themselves. Because somebody could have made a bad decision when they were 17 and doesn't have the money to have it removed, and they're a good employee at 35. You know, smart and just the person you need. Well, I don't know if I'm going to let someone's tattoo stop me from making that kind of a decision based on what I see in front of me. Yeah, I'm not going to look at that first. I might look at that second and say, like, hey, man, would you mind wearing long sleeve shirts or whatever? I mean, I don't know. I would address that when it came up.
Won't cover it up. It's on the hands. What are you going to wear?
No, but I'm just saying, to me, it would depend on what it was. You know, and what I needed this person to do. If nobody's ever going to see his hands, I may not care. That's
actually not what you just said. You actually said, I don't care if he has tattoos. I mean, I don't want him on the face, but anywhere else. So tattoos.
No, I'm talking from your point of view. I don't know. I don't think I would ever have a business where for me that would necessarily matter. You know, for anything that I might do. You know, I could see in certain levels of professionalism, you know, maybe an attorney's office or a medical place or something along those types of lines. You may have a different set of standards. I can understand that. But I still, in today's world, it's so common now. It's not like it's a few here and there. And I wouldn't want to miss out. I think it would be a potential lost opportunity to just check someone off a list because of what you saw first without even hearing them speak. I don't know. Maybe that's something we need to reevaluate on how we look at things like that. I don't know. Maybe the old ways are not necessarily the best ways. That's all I'm saying.
Nope, I disagree.
That's fine. You're allowed to, man.
I remember my dad going to work every day, wearing a suit, going to where he had a government job.
Yeah, me
wearing
too.
his little suit and tie and shaving. I remember me going to work. I used to work in nightclubs as a bouncer, and I used to go every night. You know, pressed suit, pressed shirt, you know, shined shoes, the whole 9 yards.
Yep, I even did as a mechanic. I wore good clothes as a mechanic. My uniforms were always clean. I never wore a dirty uniform to work, ever. You know,
I had a guy who was hired for a short time as a bouncer, and he used to come to work in like a fuchsia tux with a ruffled shirt. And it's like, dude, I don't know what you're thinking, but you look like an idiot. And because he was big, they allowed it for a while because he was a big dude. But it's like, you know, that's not the image that we want to put forth.
right.
You know? So I think image matters depending on, I mean, I would never go and work as a cashier wearing a suit.
No, but I think a choice of clothing is a little different. That's something that is readily changeable. But someone's tattoo, they can't necessarily change, and it might have been a bad decision they made earlier, and they can't afford to fix it. If it's something that shows and it's you know, whatever, it's not, you know, something very flattering. You know.
Okay, we have a few more minutes left, so there's something I want to touch on real quick. You said if they made a mistake when they were younger, should they be paying for it now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the tattoos.
Yeah.
Now let me give you a hypothetical, which is actually real, but I'm changing the names
To protect the innocent? Yeah, go for it.
Let's say a teenager or a barely adult, like just hitting 18, 19, 20 years old, gets into drugs. They progress to heroin. They realize they got a problem. They go to the hospital. They get off the heroin. They see their doctors. They're done with the heroin. Everything's done. Okay? 15 years later, they go to donate plasma.
Mm-hmm.
And they fill out all the paperwork. Everything's good. Then they go back, and all of a sudden they're told, I'm sorry, you can't donate because you're in the system as a recovering addict. Okay.
For needle uses, possibly, yeah.
Years ago that they don't do anymore, and there's proof that they don't do it because you can check their blood system, you can check their, you know, all this stuff. Why should that hamper them from helping someone else?
Well, I could see that now. I would go to my doctor and say, hey, you need to update this for me. You know, and then there should be notations in there as to, you know, the patient has been clean for this and that, whatever, and tested if need be, whatever, and that should be able to be changed. There's some stuff in my file that no longer applied that I didn't want in there anymore, and so I asked my doctor to delete it, and he did.
No, that's what that was my advice: is go to the doctor and tell him to take you out of the system.
Yeah, because he could prove that. He could take a piss test. He could do whatever. Be looked at. He could look at his arms, you know, or wherever, if that's what they think. There's a way he can prove himself to his doctor. And I wouldn't blame his doctor for asking questions. But with any luck, he's been seeing a doctor for other things throughout his life, and they can see the improvement he's made. And that shouldn't be a problem. You know?
Matt, you're not going to believe this?
Sure.
Our hour is up already. It seems like we just started, and we got to finish.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, it does for me. I feel like time was just shot by.
No, it always does. I don't look at the clock. I can barely see it anyway. I need new glasses.
All right, so I guess we're gonna call it an end here, and see you back next week.
See you next week.
All right, everyone, have a good one. Thank you. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe, like, and comment down below. Let us know what you think. And we'll see you all in the Funny Papers.